Now I'm cheesing my way back to you, Van, with a burning cheese inside. Time to talk Packers, as you know. I want to. We talked last week about how the Packers. It's considered one of the biggest fumbles in recent memory as far as the draft goes. But Brian Gutekunst came out. There's a Packers.com article all about what they're saying. And look, the bottom line is this quote right here from Gutekunst himself. Aaron's been around a long time and knows what we're playing for right now. We have the best quarterback in the National Football League, and we plan to have him for a while competing for championships.
Yeah. That says it all, honestly, right? Like, I had heard things about, oh, well, they had, better receivers on their draft board, ahead of him, but they, basically everybody that they wanted had gone by the time we got to Jordan Love. And okay, fine, you picked Jordan Love. That's great and everything, but Rodgers is a professional. Brian Gutekunst also says, I think he'll be a pro's pro. He's playing for legacy type things and historic type stuff. I know he's very, very motivated, and I think that's exactly it. I've been seeing a lot of drama and like all these pundits. The same thing they did last year, right? Last year was, well, Aaron Rodgers isn't going to get along with Matt LaFleur, blah 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 blah. It's going to fall apart. Guess what happened? We went 13-3 and got to the national championship, NFC championship game. So the thing that gets me though, as I'm commandeering your Packers section, is Brett Favre is out here stirring the pot. Did you see this?
I did see that, but before we segue to Brett Favre, one last quote.
No, no, no. He's stirring the pot about Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, he's
Not
stirring the
about
pot.
not about the other thing. We'll
Oh,
get to the other thing in the next video. You
oh,
guys keep an eye out for the next video, by the way.
yeah.
No, sorry, Brett Favre is stirring the pot. I think he went on the Dan Patrick show or one of his podcast type things he does, and he said that he talked to Aaron, and he said that Aaron was surprised, and then he goes on his whole thing about he doesn't think Aaron's going to finish his career in Green Bay, and this, that, and the other thing, and it's just Favre. I think it's just Favre stirring shit up, and then this makes all the sports writers stir shit up and whatever else. At the end of the day, the only person that really knows what he's going to do is Aaron Rodgers. But then you get into this whole thing of like, okay, what happened to Brett versus what happened to Aaron are very similar in terms of drafting the successor, the age they were at, the success they were having, and all those kind of things, right? People seem to forget this is not the same situation because Brett Favre played the am I going to retire, am I not going to retire game for about 5 years ahead of that.
So long.
It was awful. I mean, he basically had the organization, had the organization by the balls for like at least 3 years of what we're going to do, what we're not going to do. And the thing is that Aaron's got a contract. He's under contract. He's made it clear, I want to play until I'm 40 years old. So,
I'm not gonna say I'm not giving. I'm trying to give Gutekunst the benefit of the doubt here because it's not my favorite pick. It's not my favorite pick ever, but I don't know all the operations. I don't know what the coach has been talking to the GM and all the personnel people about. But here's one more here's one more paragraph from the Packers.com that I'm just going to give you word for word. Gutekunst had offers to trade back as well, meaning giving his trade back, but only having to surrender a late fourth round pick, number 136 overall, to get Love was too good a value to pass up, even if the plan is for Love to not play for at least a few years. And I started thinking about this. I read this and I was like, yeah, I think Love truly is, he's first round talent. And when you look at the people that we had on the docket to pick up, this kind of trade up, by the time our turn was coming, we might not have gotten anyone that we truly wanted. So picking up someone that we definitely did is a strong position to be in overall. Now, how that plays out in the next year, having obviously talent that is going to be developed rather than put into place effectively, it's going to feel like it's going to be a little bit of a rash for a little bit, but hopefully, as far as the Green Bay organization goes, it'll be a smart pick. Your reactions?
it's a long-term pick. It's a long game. I absolutely. It was not my favorite pick at the time, But then you look at the draft as a whole, like we mentioned last week, about committing to the run game and having faith in the players you currently have on the roster, and it's a pick for the future. And I recall personally saying the same thing when Aaron Rodgers was drafted. We have Brett Favre. Why are we drafting it? Who is this Aaron Rodgers kid? Why we need him? Oh, guess what? It was awesome. So, hopefully we get lucky and see the same thing. Um, and you also alluded to it earlier. I'm not a GM. I'm not a coach. I don't get paid millions of dollars to make these decisions or scout these players out, anything like that. All I can do is sit here from my armchair and be frustrated and say what I think it should be. So I'm okay with the pick. I've come to peace. I've come to terms with it.
I like your phrase. My last words here. I like your phrase "picked for the future" because where we're going, you don't need roads.
1.21 gigawatts.